Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Tainted and Tempted podcast. I'm your host, Asia. So, what you can do right now is stop what you're doing and subscribe down below, and also like this video. So, my last podcast, I talked about depression, and I talked about how depression is very severe. You can get it. It's a mental illness that you could develop due to biological factors, environment, anything that in particular that you can get depression from. And depression is, you can beat it. A lot of people have passed away. Rest in peace to everyone that passed away due to depression, because sometimes the thoughts come in your head and it tells you to kill yourself, to hurt yourself, and people follow along with that. But you got to know how to beat it. It's very dear to my heart, because like I said, I suffer from depression too, and I got it. I beat it. And there's certain ways that you can beat it, and I hope you people find the support and the help to do. And I hope my last podcast episode really helps someone and moving forward, because depression is serious, and I don't want anybody to go through that, but it happens. A lot of people suffer from depression and they beat it. Get your vitamin D, go to the gym, talk to a therapist, talk to a loved one, get the right tools to help you with depression, and it will help. Okay. So today I want to talk about something, and I want to talk about common types of mental illnesses. Last week I talked about depression. Now I want to talk about the common types of mental illness that you can develop. So let me talk about it. So mental illness refers to a wide range of conditions that affects a person's thinking, emotions, behavior, or moods in ways that make it harder to function in daily life. These conditions are not just temporary feelings like sadness or stress. They tend to be more persistent and can interfere with relationships, work, school, and overall well-being. Yes, you could develop depression. For one, let me talk about depression. When you have depression, you can't focus. Your mind is just all over the place. Your thoughts are racing. You feel bad. You feel depressed. You feel like you can't amount to anything going on. So that's one thing that gets you down. Bipolarness. You could suffer from bipolar, having mood swings back and forth, manic, and then mania, and then you could have depressed episodes as well. Your mood swings fluctuate, like they prescribe, these doctors, they prescribe medication, but medication, not all medication is the way to go. Sometimes you could get into herbs. This one website that I follow, Upful Blends, they have a lot of herbs that will help you, your immune system, your blood, everything, your gut health, your brain. These are the things that I take. I am taking a herb right now. I'm gonna show you. It's from Upful Blends. Let me put a little closer and it's really good. It's food for the blood. It's good for your blood, brain, and gut health. Upful Blends, check them out. And another website that I look into, my uncle had recommended me to the site. It's called Penn Herbs. PENN Herbs. They have a list of herbs that they have that help you. I bought a herb from them. I bought some valerian root. Let me bring it closer to the screen so you can see. And it helps you relax. It helps you calm. It helps you relax and eliminate the stresses of the day. So these are some good herbs to use to help. It's herbs out there. These medications, they don't really work. Sometimes the medications make you feel worse. They're there for one thing, but they do something else. So you need to get something that's going to help your body more naturally, and that's the holistic way. Sometimes there's a lot of people that eat fruits and vegetables for 30 days. They don't eat no more food. They said, what, I'm going to go on a fast and I'm going to help myself for 30 days, fruits and vegetables, and that helps as well. So mental illness, it covers many different types of conditions, such as depression, like I talked about, anxiety disorders. Anxiety is always having that fear, thinking something is going to happen, feeling on edge. This is a serious condition that a lot of people got, and a lot of people picked it up too when COVID hit and we had to shut down. A lot of people caught anxiety disorders. Bipolar, I talked about bipolar too. Extreme mood swings from depressive to highs and lows, from depressive to mania. Mania is having so much energy, like having so much energy, and then your lows is not having no energy, feeling depressed, feeling sad. That's why they have medications to help you with that, but also, holistic way is the best way as well. Schizophrenia, difficulty distinguishing reality, possible hallucinations or delusions. People with schizophrenia, they have voices in their head that it's hard for them to understand if the reality is real. They're in delusion. It goes deep, all these mental illnesses, bipolar depression and schizophrenia. It's more mental illnesses, but this is the main ones that I'm addressing today because this is serious and this is what people get. A lot of people are getting bipolar, and people are saying it's due to the foods, it's due to what's going on. I'm not sure, but a lot of people are suffering from bipolar disorder, and a lot of people are getting depressed. So why happens? Mental illness doesn't have a single cause. Exactly. It doesn't have a single cause. It usually involves a combination of biological factors, brain chemistry, genetics, psychological factors, trauma, coping skills, environmental factors like your experience and your social conditions. Important things to know. Mental illnesses are common. Millions of people experience it. It's not a personal failure or a weakness. Many conditions are treatable, often with therapy, medication, lifestyle changes, or a combination. So like I said, I gave a little brief insight on mental illness and the common types of mental illness. This is very serious. Get help if you're feeling like you want to harm somebody, if you want to kill yourself. Get help. Go to a doctor. Go to the emergency room and talk to somebody about this because this is very severe. Get it treated because depression will take you to the next level. Like I said, I'm living proof. I had it. I beat it. And like I said, I was having those negative thoughts. I was having them suicidal thoughts, but I kept on fighting. I kept on telling myself it's not true. It's not true. I believe in God and God is going to get me through this. God is going to make this work. And common signs of mental illness, people suffer from this, and I want to say it's help out there. Therapy, going to the gym, getting your vitamin D, taking herbs, taking these herbs, doing things that's going to benefit you, find things, look on the internet, say, look at the AI is everywhere, you can look up anything, you can look up these herbs, you can look up anything. Dr. Sebi, he healed a lot of people from illnesses, and he's one of the top major people that's looked upon, and it's sad that he passed away. Rest in peace to him. But Dr. Sebi was real and he told us about a lot of things. He had a lot of knowledge and they didn't want him to be here for that. I'm not sure on how he died, but rest in peace to his family. I send condolences to his family and rest in peace to him. So like I said, anybody that's going through common types of mental illness, bipolar, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, it's help out here. It's things you can do to benefit yourself and get it right. So I wanted to talk about that today. Common signs of mental illness. Fight it, fight it. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition is going to tell you, get up. It's a voice inside your mind that speaks to you. That's God, that tells you, get up, go to the gym, read these books, work out, and it takes time. Like I said, you have to clear your mind. Once you get over depression, you have to clear your mind from it. And it takes some time, and I'm living proof to tell you it does take time. I had depression for like about, I say for a year now, 6 months to a year. And I was suffering. I was in a dark place. I felt very low. And that's when I turned to God. God just opened those doors for me. He said, you know what? You're not going to kill yourself. You're going to make it, and I listened to God. I started praying to God every night, every morning, every night. I started talking to him throughout the day like, God, please get me through the day. I was dealing with a heartbreak as well. I was really sad about that, but I got through it, and I kind of thank the person for breaking my heart because that kind of freed me. Once you get your feelings hurt, it kind of wakes you up to realize your true potential and who you really are, and I kind of thank that person for breaking my heart, because it opened my eyes. And like I said, everybody goes through a heartbreak, once, twice, 3 times, however, but it makes you stronger each and every time, and it's just a lot. My aunt passed away. Rest in peace to her sons. And after that, it was like my whole life changed and I started seeing life in a different way. And I started realizing life and the way it is. I woke up from this deep sleep. I was awoken, and I started to see life in a different way, and I started understanding things. I started researching about Egyptian history. I started researching about alignment. I started doing alignment numbers. I started doing manifestation. I started doing a lot of things that will benefit me, and my mind was just so open, and I was just so open to everything, and as time went on, things started to clear up for me. Things started to calm down, and I started to come back to reality. But the thing was, I was so out of touch with reality because I was depressed for so long, and then I finally came back into myself. Like I said, I was doing therapy. I was going to the gym. I was working out. I was praying to the Lord every day. I was taking herbs, and I finally got back to myself. So it takes some time. It takes a lot of time to get back to yourself, but you can do it. Fight this depression, fight any mental illness that you're going through, and you will be okay. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Tainted and Tempted podcast. What you can do is stop what you're doing and subscribe down below, and also like this video. I hope you enjoyed my depression podcast episode, and I hope you enjoyed this one as well. Like I said, I'm doing very good. Thank you to all my subscribers, my followers on Instagram, Facebook. Thank you. I'm going to keep on posting and keep doing what I love. Add me on my Instagram, which is Tainted and Tempted _TV, and my Facebook, which is Tainted 2 _Tempted podcast. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye bye.